Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Our big focus this hour, the horrifying Coimbatore gang rape has sent shockwaves throughout the country, where a 20-year-old college student was abducted and raped by 3 individuals on an abandoned stretch near the Coimbatore Airport. The girl, who was out with a male friend, was raped and abandoned by the assailants while her friend was assaulted. Further chilling details of the assault and the girl's ordeal have now emerged. Details reveal how a few families living at the Brindavan Nagar area near Coimbatore International Airport had come to the aid of the 20-year-old college girl who sought refuge in one of the houses while fleeing from the 3 men who allegedly gang raped her on the intervening night of the 2nd and 3rd of November on a deserted area nearby. According to witnesses who did not want to be identified, the girl scaled the compound wall of a house around 4 a.m. on 3rd November and knocked on the front door. However, the residents were asleep and did not hear the knocks. As the calling bell did not work, she pressed the switch of a motor in a desperate move to seek support. Upon receiving no response, the girl climbed the open stairs to reach the terrace, from where she stepped into the veranda of the adjacent house on the 1st floor. The residents of the 1st floor were shocked to see a girl in distress in front of their door at an unexpected hour, seeking help. Soon the residents of the house alerted a few neighbors, including the family residing on the ground floor. Meanwhile, the girl came to the ground floor of the house, where she switched on a light on the porch and knocked on the door for help. Soon the neighbors from 8 families altogether rushed to the house on the ground floor. An eyewitness present at the time shared the girl was in a panic state beyond words. She said she was fleeing from 3 persons who assaulted her boyfriend on a vacant land nearby. The first words that came from her were from me, the eyewitness said, were, "You are safe here, nobody will harm you." She wanted to speak to her mother over the phone and I gave her my phone. Meanwhile, sensing that the girl was in need of a replacement for the dress she was wearing, a woman from the neighborhood immediately arranged one. The survivor was given water as well as support. Hearing the ordeal of the girl, 2 men from the neighborhood rushed to the vacant land of Brindavan Nagar, where her boyfriend was assaulted by the 3 men. They found police personnel at the place and alerted them about the girl, who were combing the vacant land and adjacent deserted areas from 11:45 p.m. The police team rushed to the house and shifted her to a nearby private hospital. As protests emerge over the horrifying crime, the incident has raised big questions over the security apparatus in cities, especially along vulnerable or deserted stretches. While police examined more than 300 CCTV footage from nearby areas, the CCTV could not capture the accused faces due to the glare of lights. Now, as we look for a solution to prevent such tragedies, let's take a closer look at how CCTVs have failed in this particular case. Brinda Dige, social activist, is joining us live. Tahira Hassan, activist, also joins us in the broadcast. Sanjay Sahai, former APS officer, is with us live as well. Brinda Dige, let me begin with you first on what you make of the horrifying sequence of events which have come to the fore regarding the ordeal and the aftermath.
The sequence of events seems like there is a group of these guys claiming that they were smoking or drinking on the street, but on the lookout for people, whether with boyfriends or by themselves, and rape is on their mind. It is a premeditated crime. So let us not get into this argument that they were drunk and then they saw a car and then they decided that now they will rape. I don't think it happens like that. I'm sure that they keep a watch. They are noticing people, they are observing how people are going and coming, and I'm sure this girl would have made a couple of rounds with her boyfriend over the last month or weeks, and they have decided that these are vulnerable couples or vulnerable people on whom they can cause this havoc, and that is exactly what has been done over there. That the girl escaped and she managed to reach somebody's house. I'm glad that the people came out and supported and helped her, because we've also heard cases where women have gone seeking help from either residents or in the neighborhoods, and people have not opened the doors and not extended any support. So we must continue to create this awareness that community is equally responsible for the safety and protection of women and children. Now, that said, I'm glad that the Coimbatore police have gone all out and got these guys arrested. Now, we also heard that they are out on bail. So if they can get bail so quickly and the police are yet to ascertain all the facts and put their evidence in place, have they got a protection plan or whatever for the girl and her families? Because that is part of the law and part of the witness and victim protection policy. So if they have not got all of these things, why didn't the prosecutor and the police oppose bail for these guys? Because they are out there. And after some time, they will go absconding and the police can't find them or trace them. Of course, they might sign all kinds of bonds and conditions, but that doesn't mean they will adhere to it. So again, we come back to this: how is it that the system is not yet stringent enough?
Tahira Hassan, let me quickly draw you in here as well. This entire ordeal of the girl is, of course, very, very shocking as well. Of course, while there were some people who were willing to help, there were others who weren't. Of course, now the CCTVs will be scanned to see if they were working or not. The deserted area, of course, the lack of policing, also very, very, scary and very concerning as well, Tahira Hassan. What do you make of the ordeal the girl faced in the aftermath, as have been detailed by several eyewitnesses?
Yes, very true. It's a very shocking case, and I'm shocked that the CCTV camera was so. I mean, pictures were not clear. I mean, they installed behind the international airport. So it is really shocking that the priority of women's security is not on priority of the state and the institutions. And light was so low. Why it is so? It was isolated area, or they have to be, and why there is no, they were insufficient police patrolling. So these are the things that has to be taken again and again. We say after Nirbhaya, it was a very strong law was made. Justice Verma committee was constituted. I repeat again and again, and we have very strong law in our hand, but it is only on the paper. It is not implemented. Here you see they are on the bail. How it is that they, after committing such a heinous crime, they have been on the bail again? And these offenders, and we say, why there is no fear of law? I mean, I think I ask this question again. It is a baseless question by me also, because offenders they have no fear of law. They know after committing heinous crime, they will get away. So this is a thing that people are saying the police is doing very promptly worked. True that they arrested, no doubt. But after that, they had to collect the evidences properly. They had to protest against their bail also. The prosecutor did not, why did not protest it? So these are the questions when the evidences will not be collected and not produced in the on court, then the honorable court will give the judgment on the basis of the evidences. And these people, after committing heinous crime, after violating women's body, they will get away. And next time they will commit more heinous crime. And we say that after Justice Verma report, the deterrence is why so weak. It is because of this, that conviction rate is very, very low. When this conviction rate is low, the offenders know that we can commit crime, we can violate women's body, and after that we will get. So I think my voice is clear.
Yes, yes.
They think that they will get away, and the Petrarchy is also playing very important role.
Okay, Sanjay Sahai, let me draw you in here. Sanjay Sahai, one wonders, of course, whether these CCTVs were working, whether they were being monitored at all or not. What's the point of CCTVs if they're not monitored? This deserted area, of course, down to the scanner. The need is there for a swift probe. Will that happen or not is the big question.
This is a big question. Why the CCTV was not working?
Sanjay Sahai.
See, we'll come back to the CCTVs. I'll take exactly 1 minute before we come to the CCTVs. Suffice to say that all the stakeholders who are a part of the criminal justice system, they are equally callous and they're just not bothered about why these offenses take place and in which ways it is to be set right. Even after the Nirbhaya case, because of the whole sort of agitation which took place, government was forced to come down to its knee and put Justice Verma Commission and all the findings thereof and amendments were made. I don't think there was hardly any effort made to bring down the capability of enforcement, patrolling, investigation, prosecution, and judicial trial. I don't think literally even an iota of change has taken place. So let's make it very, very clear that every single stakeholder in the criminal justice system, they only come back to explain why things have happened, why things have not happened. Point number two, I'll come to the CCTVs. Point number two, that these people were on bail. At least two of them had murder charges against them. When the bail is given, it is the duty that the bail conditions also come through. And the bail conditions will very clearly tell you as to how many times they have to go to the police station. In this day and age, why live tracking of their location is not being done, I have absolutely no idea. There are any number of cases in this country where on bail, people have committed all sorts of crime. It is sex related, it is related to political crimes. There are variety of crimes which is regularly being committed when people are on bail. Next is the secluded area. If it is a secluded area, it is all the more reason that it should be monitored by patrolling. So after the abduction, till the time this girl appeared in Brindavan Nagar, I think there few hours have elapsed. And there is absolutely no way who can give the account of those hours. And when you know that it is a secluded area, you also know that CCTVs are not covering that area. What was police patrolling doing from 10:30 in the night to 3:30, whatever the timings might be? Now we come specifically to the CCTVs. Because CCTV is branded as a false multiplier. When the police force is not there, the CCTVs will do the job and give us the information. Done. I have done a research on 7 cities on the effectiveness of CCTVs, and only Hyderabad came to a level which can be called satisfactory. Now the Nirbhaya CCTVs in 6 cities or 7 cities, I don't know whether the project is still complete or not. The Ministry of Home Affairs was not able to do, and then it was handed over to the Ministry of Women and Child Welfare. Present status, we don't know. Suffice to say that the capability of the CCTV is not that it is being put there. The capability of the CCTV is that there has to be a coverage area. The city has to be divided in a manner, more so from the criminality point of view, we call it as the heat map. Based on the heat map or secluded area, the CCTV coverage has to be there. Today, nobody knows the technical specifications of the CCTV. Nobody knows what analytics are going into the CCTV. And this whole 300 cameras which are being touted. In most of the cases, when the public CCTVs don't work, there are a variety of other ways, by your mobiles, by other CCTVs, which is brought in as an emergency measure to track the case or to detect the case. And that is how things move forward. In Delhi, there are 1 lakh CCTV cameras which don't do the work of Delhi police. It is under the Delhi government. So CCTVs is still, I will go out of the way and say, because I've been doing CCTVs for at least 15, 17, 18 years. It is more of a fancy than a real tool. But just because they are all around the place and just because you have any number of mobiles, somehow in times of this emergency, this footage has come to work. But if you really go, how many CCTVs have been put, for what purpose, for what video analytics, and what is most important, why don't we have real-time alarm? CCTVs have the capability that if there is violence, if there is issue in your motion detection, there are a variety of things which can be put into that. Even facial recognition can be done at scale. Today also, yes, facial recognition can be done at scale, and in a very ideal situation, you can call it theoretical. Okay. But if cameras,
stay with us on this CCTV argument. I just want to quickly describe for our viewers a bit more about what the situation was at this particular area where this incident has occurred. So why reportedly the CCTVs have not worked here? Let's quickly, can we go to the top, please? Let's go to the top. Yes, thank you. Now this area reportedly had a vacant stretch along the mud road near Coimbatore International Airport and the SIHS colony. So there was a vacant area, a deserted area there, in this stretch, of course, which is where obviously that incident occurred, where her boyfriend was assaulted, where of course then she after this ordeal escaped, and that's why obviously the CCTVs have not been very effective. Let's quickly go to the next slide. That's the area. Now the student was assaulted, the friend was attacked. This all happened 100 meters from the compound wall of the airport's runway. This is a vacant area there, a deserted land that you can see pictured on your screens. The police collected more than 300 CCTV footage from Kovipalayam and Brindavan Nagar. from these two localities of Brindavanagar and Kovipalayam. Remember, these are all adjoining that international airport boundary wall that you can see on your screens there. They've collected all this CCTV footage. But remember, all of this, of course, has not helped prevent this crime. Will it help in the investigation? That's something we will, of course, be talking about. But remember, there's a big debate which exists between CCTV analysis and CCTV monitoring. Now, CCTV monitoring is real-time observation of CCTV footage. Does that happen or not? That is the big question. Analysis, of course, is something totally different. I think that is there's an error there in that slide, but CCTV analysis, of course, is something that obviously let's quickly go to the next slide, please. CCTV analysis, of course, is something that happens after a crime for investigation and to catch the culprit. CCTV monitoring detects ongoing incidents as they happen. CCTV analysis, on the other hand, involves reviewing or decoding footage. CCTV monitoring helps in immediate response, like alerts or on-ground action when a crime is occurring or about to occur. CCTV analysis helps in identifying suspects, timeliness, and in evidence gathering as well. Pros, well, real-time detection happens if CCTV monitoring is taking place proactively, also enables an immediate response, can help prevent crimes. It's also useful in managing crowds in public spaces. Cons, though, is there's continuous manpower is required for this. It involves high costs. There are privacy concerns as well over continuous surveillance, and there's difficulty in analyzing large volumes of data continuously. As far as CCTV analysis is concerned, its pros are that it helps in reconstruction. It's useful for evidence collection. It can also reveal patterns and timeline, but its cons are that it's reactive and not preventive. It's massive storage requirements. It requires massive storage requirements, and there is limited coverage, also certain blind spots. Okay. Brinda, let me take that to you. Do we have large-scale CCTV monitoring in our country? Or do we have large-scale CCTV analysis in our country? And which would be the need of the hour, given the fact that now CCTV surveillance is increasing in various cities?
Do not have CCTV monitoring at all. Though we have large, huge, sophisticated setups, there are no personnel, nor do I think that there is any kind of AI that is monitoring. Because one of the primary reasons Nirbhaya funds got utilized in all the cities and all the towns and districts was to prevent these kind of crimes on women. To prevent and say we will extend that safety just by monitoring. All the red spots will have extra cameras and extra monitoring. Now we know that that monitoring is not happening because nowhere have we heard of a single case across India where they have said that we were monitoring and we thought that this is something that might happen and we had a patrol over there. Nowhere. Again, now we are seeing in this particular case that even the videos and the photographs are not clear. Of course, they say that, the distance of the camera is only 10 feet, 15 feet. But don't we have cameras at different 20 feet or 30 feet every 15, 20 feet? One is the Nirbhaya cameras themselves. Two is the cameras from the homes and offices and factories. Three is the cameras of the signal lights. So we know that these cameras are there at all these spots. And if you do an aggregate, you will find that at least every 10 feet there is some camera. Now that analysis happens only after the crime is done. For that particular crime, not as an analysis to learn and build on it and say, let us put these things in place so that something like this will not happen. All of that said and done, where is the patrolling? Every police is sitting inside their vans and they are either sleeping or probably we don't know what they are doing. But where is your foot patrolling? Your foot patrolling is the one that's going to give you all of that information. So while you might have your vehicle parked at one corner, you must and should have your foot patrolling. So if you don't want to do the foot patrolling, you need to be doing the patrolling over cycle, not on two-wheelers, because then you just whiz past. There is need to assimilate what is happening in and around. That is what foot patrolling is all about. Not for, just going around, because you will take 5 seconds to move from one space to another space. And people who are doing whatever they are doing, they will hide for 5-10 seconds. So where is this prevention and where is this protection? So both are at loss because the police are unable to do both. And they can never say that they don't have funding because they get enough and more funding. We just have to ask the question, how much is the corruption?
Sanjay Sahai, lack of police patrolling, lack of course, deterrence because of the police presence of criminals. These all, this is the malaise that we are facing currently, says Brinda DK. Also, is there any monitoring happening of CCTVs? Is that something that is practically achievable? What is the point of CCTVs if they are not preventive and just reactive, Sanjay Sahai?
I'll come to the malaise which Brinda Adige has been talking about and I'll explain in detail. First and foremost, let's come to the technology part. In this country, nobody understands CCTV. Nobody understands how CCTV monitoring is done, how video analytics happen. That is a reality of life, and that is why we have lakhs of CCTVs all across the country, delivering nearly not. So we start there, point number one. Point number two, when you don't know the technical specifications, you don't know the nature of procurement, you don't know how to put a system. It is a huge, complex technical system. So if you don't understand that huge, complex technical system, how do you put it in place? And if you put it in place, what you get out of it is truncated. 2,800 crores, I think, was the initial amount which came for Nirbhaya funds. Let somebody do a return on investment and find out as to how much of it has actually transpired. I'll not get into further details. You're talking about monitoring. Now, you had a theoretical slides with how monitoring is done, and that's perfectly fine. Monitoring, first two types. First is when you are able to prevent a crime because of the situation or movement or vehicles or whatever. So you have your parameters. On that, you are able to prevent a crime. Second, real-time dynamic monitoring, second stage is wherein something is happening. When something is happening and violence is happening, when arson is happening, when a vehicle is being burned, still also if you are not getting the emergency SOS and it is not connected to your police control room vans, if they are not able to get the location, they are not able to get the video, what are you doing in the current day world in 2025? I am not able to understand. That is the second level of monitoring. The third level is every single day, and the Supreme Court of India and High Courts have been telling over and over again, not in connection to this, but with connection to lockups and custodial violence, that CCTV footage audit has to be done on every single day, every 24 hours. The same audit, if it is done, large number of cases in the day-to-day routine affair will also throw up. If you could only put the faces and facial recognition is done through this whole footage, lots and lots of things will happen. Finally, when it comes to the post-mortem part of it or the detection part of it, detection, we saw 300 cameras you are having all around the place. Might be one or two of these cameras have contributed, but we will certainly take the commendation saying that we have seen 300 cameras. You have to see 300 cameras, you have to see mobile footages, you have to see variety of things because you don't know what you are doing. If I could have that 1 kilometer stretch properly covered, I could do variety of things at a much faster pace and able to deliver
including this area. It was a deserted area. Do you believe that's why perhaps there will be that black patch which will hinder the investigation?
There is criteria given in the Nirbhaya procurement where it says that these areas have to be covered outside of girls' hostel, outside of girls' colleges, lonely secluded areas, and you are talking about an international airport. So I did not see the visuals because it did not appear on my screen. But if it is an international airport, on the other side of the boundary wall, will it remain uncovered? Will there be no lighting? Will there be no sensors? There will be no electrified wires? Will there be no CCTVs? I can go on and on and on. And the main job of the CCTV is first is the coverage area, second is to prevent crime, Third is to provide real-time dynamic alerts so that your police control room vans and variety of things can be done. Fourth is a regular CCTV footage audit to find out variety of things which you can get. You could have found these people who are out on bail, whether they're moving, they're not moving. If you had a CCTV footage audit, and finally, when it comes to post-mortem and
Point
detection,
taken.
they would provide immense
Point
value.
taken. I want to give 60 seconds to Tahir Hassan. Closing points. Tahir Hassan, last word to you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I mean, we are talking about the CCTV cameras. That is very important and true that after Nirbhaya, it was Justice Verma committee when constituted. These are all guidelines have been given. But thing is this, that they're only on paper, you know. What is the use of the CCTV cameras if they are not working? And why in all isolated areas there is so low light? That I mean, the safety, where is the safety of the women? Means it is not on the priority for the state and for the institutions. And the second thing is that the Nirbhaya fund was allocated 2013, 3,000 crore. How much has been used? Helpline, one stop, one center, and these CCTV cameras. How many good quality of CCTV cameras have been installed? And if not, why this much time has been wasted? I mean, the women's security has not been taken as a priority. This is very important thing that we must ask, that the use Nirbhaya fund properly. Give the blueprint on that. How much has been used by which state? If not used, why it is not used? Why the women's security is not the priority? Because prevention is always better than punishment. Every time we demand stringent punishment. But why not prevention when we have laws? Implement those laws, increase the conviction rate. Otherwise, it will not act as a deterrence, you know. And there is no fear in the offenders. They will commit suicide and they will commit crimes, heinous crimes like rape and sexual harassment, and they will get away.
Okay. Let me leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us. We've run out of time. It's time for a very short break.